gas to get home. I mean, I think they'll get home without the fuel. They'll be fine. And what will they find in Philly? I think people will be awake. It's 40-22 is the final that looks better than the game was. You see the stat for Jalen Hurts, 5 incompletions. That's all he had. He outran Saquon Barkley. Saquon had another 40. I think he had about 100 yards total. Stats don't matter. 40-22. Congratulations to the Eagles. This reminded me of the only Super Bowl these Chiefs lost to Tampa Bay. Obviously, offensively different. It was Brady, etc. But they were mauled by the Tampa Bay defense in that game.
Boom.
Did you agree with that, Booger?
Without a doubt, Boom. We've seen Patrick Mahomes struggle in Super Bowls. And the one before, the Buccaneers defense led by Todd Bowles and that defensive line dominated him. Now, the Chiefs' offensive line was injured. This one here was just depleted because they didn't have the talent at left tackle. Think about this, Boom. 16 pressures, 6 sacks. They blitzed 0 times. They blitzed 0 times, Boom. This defensive line was absolutely outstanding. Let's take a look at how they did it, Boom. It's really simple. Watch the defensive line dominating up front. The ability to collapse the pocket and make Patrick move. Alex, you know this. Anytime a quarterback drops back and you can make him move initially, now you have that quarterback off his spot.
Oh, no doubt. And the worst thing is, listen, when you get pressure as a quarterback and they're bringing linebackers and safeties, that's one thing. I mean, they're dropping into coverage. Everybody has help. This is a 4-man rush. Every single one of these, there's no worse feeling. And you're exactly right, but this is when your quarterbacks start to get sped up. You see him double clutch. You see him start to force things. He's got a left tackle in his lap on this one. I mean, just trying to do too much, and this one opened the game up.
And, Boom, the Eagles' defensive line. Let this be a lesson to everyone out there. We talked all week long about Mahomes, and he may be the greatest ever already, and the dynasty and all these different things. Even the greatest quarterback maybe that we've ever seen, because of the pressure that was created by this defensive line, not just the starters, but they got depth too. When you look at Nolan Smith Jr., you look at Josh Sweat, Milton Williams, Jalen Carter, they had guys rolling. I didn't even know who they were. But the pressure they put on Patrick Mahomes, they made Superman look very, very normal tonight. And let that be a lesson to every GM out there. Load your defensive line up, because the 2 times we've seen Patrick Mahomes look like this, the Buccaneers did it, and tonight the Eagles' defensive line did it.
You know, I'll let Alex come in here, but the other thing I was reminded of, and again, the games aren't exactly the same.
Yeah.
But when Denver came in scoring 600 and whatever it was points against the Seahawks, whose defense is as legendary as there's been in the last, certainly quarter century, the Legion of Boom. And they just mauled the Broncos and Peyton Manning, obviously Hall of Famer. Mahomes, we're not even talking Hall of Fame. We know what's going to end up that way. But to your point, Booger and Alex, what do you do when 1 second in you're checking 3 different areas of the rush? It sounds like a stupid question, but I thought Peyton saw it. Pat saw it against Tampa Bay. He doesn't see it that much, and he saw it tonight.
Yeah, it's not a good feeling, to be honest. And listen, we got to talk about Vic Fangio. The job.
Yes,
I mean, listen, this was one of the worst defenses in the NFL a year ago.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, almost dead last.
They got 2 rookies in the secondary, and they got a free agent special teamer at middle linebacker, and all of a sudden they are by far the best defense, and obviously put on an unbelievable show tonight. And the job he did, and I was with him for 2 years, and it's this same model again. When you can get this kind of pressure with your front, I mean, it is so overwhelming. Is the feeling. It's suffocating. And we saw that from Patrick, right? Like, just trying to run around and do anything. You're double clutching, you're guessing. This make you make mistakes. And again, the team that blocks and tackles the best, right, as we come back to football, like that was evident tonight, right? Look at both sides of the line of scrimmage. I mean, Jalen back there had time to go through progressions, use his legs on scrambles. I mean, again, as much as we love to talk about quarterbacks, it does come back to that.
Well, and on top of that, again, the formula was going to be Saquon Barkley. Everybody said in order for the Eagles to win, Saquon had to dominate this game. They took Saquon away. And so I think it's important for us to talk about Jalen Hurts and give Jalen the defensive line dominated. But boom, Jalen Hurts has been maligned across this league and saying, well, he can't do this. He can't do that. But I know what he can do. The last 2 weeks, you and I have talked about it. Played some of the best football he's played in his career. And now he's a world champion. Tonight, he was unbelievable. That's 2 times. Think about it. That's 2 times he's played Patrick Mahomes in Super Bowls.
Outplayed him.
And he's outplayed him.
Yeah.
It's time for us to give Jalen Hurts some love. Let that sink in. He's played him twice, and he's outplayed Patrick Mahomes both times, Boom.
Well, something to look at. The Chiefs, look, we'll talk about them. It's not like, oh, what's the matter with them? Well, tonight they ran into a buzzsaw. When we return on NFL Primetime, we'll talk about the team that had a chance to three-peat, but ran into fly, Eagles, fly, rush, Eagles. Look, it's not as if the Chiefs forgot how to win. I mean, let's not, they lost the game and they lost it handily. However, they were in the Super Bowl. They're in almost every year. What is it, 5 of 6? Pat's not yet 30. He's got 3 kids, been in 5 Super Bowls. We know that they're 3-2. Tom, Troy, Big Ben, Bob Greasy, John Elway, before turning 30, they were in 3. So, I mean, the sky will be the limit for the career of Patrick Mahomes with Coach Andy Reid and the Chiefs. But tonight, unfortunately, for Mahomes and Reid and company, the sky fell just a little bit.
I thought our team played really well. I feel like I didn't play to my standard, just with especially the struggles that I had early in the season. And so there's things that I have to get better at, and they kind of showed today on the biggest stage. And so I'm about to find a way this offseason to combat what defenses are doing to me as far as rush lanes and different coverages that they're playing. And that's the beauty of football, is that you never can be satisfied with just going out there and playing and thinking you're going to have success year in and year out. These defenses are going to continue to get better and better, and so I have to get better. And so I take a lot of ownership in that, and I want to hopefully come back and play better football this next season.
Yeah, listen, they all hurt. You get this far. You battled your tail off to get this far. Very, very hard to do. And, it's we spent a lot of time doing this. And it's not a hobby, right? So we're in it the whole way, and spent a lot of hours doing it as players, as coaches. So it's going to hurt. They all hurt when you get to this level and these things happen. Three-peat aside or any of that stuff, that you get this far and you don't play as well as you want to, it hurts.
One of the great coaches, one of the great quarterbacks, and they didn't win tonight, and they know that you don't win them all. Pat was sacked 6 times, most in his career, any game. Chiefs trailed 34-0 in the third quarter, which was the biggest deficit in Mahomes' career. This was the one. When they got 24-0, right? Booger and I were sitting together, and then they had one more play in the first half. Whatever. The Eagles had 24 points, and the Chiefs had 14 yards. 14 yards. There was a 9-yard play that was all right, but after that, there was really nothing. 14 yards, essentially, in the first half, and we saw what happened.
Listen, I love what Pat said there. He's an ultimate leader. This guy's going to step up to the plate. He loves to compete. He's holding himself very accountable. He talked about his standard. But the truth is, this guy's masked a lot this entire season leading up to this. And this is an offensive line that got exposed today. Patrick didn't have any help out there. I mean, the running backs had a combined 7 carries for 24 yards right there. Xavier Worthy came on at the end, but obviously a lot of that was kind of garbage time to finish things up. Like he was out there by himself, right? And again, I love him taking accountability, but they got to address some things this offseason, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the shuffle.